think he was important. It was obviously with the schedule, spring training, there's a lot. I think it was going to be 34 of 35 or 33 of 34, something like that, days in a row. So talking to the pitching coaches, the hitting coaches, the performance guys and training staff, we just felt that it was best to give everyone a day off and let them kind of spend time with their families and be ready to go tomorrow.
What do you think of Ohtani's live MVP yesterday? What's kind of next for him?
So obviously he never ceases to amaze. First live batting practice, I think he took a fire hydrant cutter that was a little bit pulled, hit it out in center field. Yeah, I mean, I think that we're all trying to slow play this because you see him in the batter's box. He says he's healthy. Training staff says he's healthy, but you still want to sort of go through the process. And talking to Shohei, and I think what he wants is 50 at bats, and he feels that if he can get 50 at bats, that'll get him ready for the season.
Is that backfield and on practice the games, or?
I think so. Yeah.
You know who's in practice league?
I think I do. It was. Let me think about that. I saw the list today. I'll look back on my phone and give you that.
So to get 50 at bats, as soon as we have to get in the game.
Well, I think that a question for him or the hitting guys is. Do those 3 at-bats that he took yesterday count as 3 at-bats? So I know for certain that it's not being in a Cactus League games will constitute an at-bat. I know that. But whether it's a live versus a simulated game, on a backfield, is there any difference in that? That I don't know yet.
Obviously, he kind of has his plan. Like you mentioned yesterday, he knows better than anything. Do you have a number of games that you feel comfortable with Cactus League games?
No, I don't. I don't. I think that, some people would rather play in a Cactus League game because it gets their adrenaline going more. And some people feel that, if you're playing on a backfield or simulated, you can get what you put into it. And so I'm like most of you guys, I'm still learning Shohei, but for me, there's got to be a lot of trust on my side. And so if he needs more at-bats or wants to play in more games, we can acquiesce, and if we don't, then I'm good with it.
Having a number now, how optimistic does that make you about
Having what?
Having like a set number now that he wants to get to, does that make you more optimistic about his availability, day and all that?
Yeah. And I think that, certain players, certainly a guy like Shohei, having kind of know what the finish line looks like and then how do we get there, I think is important to him. And so I think it just makes us all feel better in how we get to that point.
And this came out of a conversation?
This came out of a conversation, yeah, yesterday.
For some of the other guys, like Dean, Freddie, what does it kind of look like for them? Spring training, what expectation?
Freddie, I don't know how many at-bats he's taken the last couple years. I do know that it's a little different because we're starting the season early in Seoul. So I think that for us it's more of, not trying to go too much, but getting in that, finding that happy medium. Because, to get the at-bats in a game, you still got to be out on the field. And the games get long, your legs get heavy. So how do we find that balance? So for me, it's like guys like Freddie, Mookie, Will, Max, all these guys, all of our guys. It's just conversations that I'm going to keep having daily.
And just with Mookie, I know that we saw him more infield last year. Obviously, he's got history of playing. But is there anything you want to see from him this spring, this season, like it's like a base?
No. I think that his track record speaks for itself He's not a guy that does a whole lot on the baseball side in the off season, just knowing that there's a lot of baseball in store, and I think he operates best that way. But he knows how to get himself ready. So I think for me, I'm excited to see him play second base and come out of the gates playing second base. But as far as anything specific, nothing in particular.
Yamamoto, is he going to throw another live before getting
He will. He'll throw another live. It'll probably be a 2-inning situation. I would say that's going to be happening here in the next couple of days.
Has anybody asked about who's going to start on Thursday?
Yeah, they did, and I got it on my phone, so I'll look at it again before I answer that.
And when it comes to Yamamoto, when you consider the talent level, if everything goes as planned, I mean, usually wait deep into March to announce the open day starter, but is it fair to say he'll be pitching one of the Dodgers' first 2 games in Korea?
I think that's a safe bet. Obviously, things can change. It's 2 regular season games, but it's just 2 games. So I think that it's fair to say that that's our hope. But I don't think I am or we're beholden to that if it doesn't make sense.
Would Glasgow
I think that makes sense too. I think that's a safe bet as well. But again, this is a unique ramp up for everyone. And so, like I said, it's 2 games that matter, but it's just 2 games. So the entirety of the season, making sure these guys are ready to take down the start, that's most important.
Dave, how much pressure
started the season in Australia. They had a sleep specialist, all kinds of things in spring training. Have you been doing
So Brandon McDaniel, our performance director, VP, he is in lockstep with our sleep specialist, and so there's a lot of conversations that they've already had to figure out what time we leave from here to then get into Seoul. We're going to do an optional workout that evening when we get in to kind of keep our bodies awake. So there's already a lot of conversations that we've had on the front end, and also what time we leave as we get back into Los Angeles. So yeah, they've tackled that.
I know that year was the year Kershaw had his muscle behind his shoulder because he ramped up and pitched in Australia. How much of a concern do you have about pitchers in particular?
I think, Bill, that was a situation that was isolated, and there's other pitchers that went into that series, and I don't recall, wasn't a part of the Dodgers, that pitched and didn't come out injured. So I don't think we have the luxury of just one isolated instance and say that's kind of the standard. So the Padres are going to do it, we're going to do it, and we want to go out there and win 2 games.
I know it's still not the reason why you would do it, but having Glasgow, Yamamoto, since you start the first couple games, what's the significance of having that, especially after the offseason you guys have had, just to be able to debut this new roster?
It's exciting. I think that things certainly can change, but man, it's been a historic offseason for the Dodgers, this organization, and I don't smile a whole lot when I'm on the field, but I'm smiling inside, and also to be able to kind of have those guys work together. I don't think anyone right now can say how it's going to line up, going forward, but to know that, these guys are going to kind of anchor our rotation for years to come is very exciting.
Dave, how much pressure do you have? How much pressure do you feel to win immediately based on this roster you've assembled?
Honestly, I can honestly say I don't feel any more pressure than I have in any year. I've said it before. I think that there's certainly more eyes on us, but as far as for me, it's my same. I think everyone feels the same way. So it's hard to have the expectation, the obsession to win the World Series. It doesn't get any bigger than that. So I'm in that same spot right now.
Can you have a successful season that doesn't end in a World Series championship?
I think if we don't win the World Series, I think that I would say that not accomplishing our goal is a failure. Would be a failure. But I don't feel that the hours people have committed to 8 months in a season can be bucketed as failing. So I think that I know that the world wants to see it black and white, but I just refuse to say that 8 months of work and preparation as 29 other teams have failed for 8 months of the whole. I just have a hard time putting that into perspective in my head. But to your question, if the Dodgers don't win the World Series, I think we all feel that we failed accomplishing our goal. Well, I think it certainly increases your chances with a talented roster and also having a depth-laden roster. But I don't know, you guys probably know more so the highest payroll teams and the relating to winning a championship, my guess is that they're not synonymous. So I know we're up there this year, as we are most years in the top 5. We've won one in the last 3 years. So certainly that's not the one formula, but ownership has gone out there and put their best foot forward to equip us with a very, very great ball club. Now we just got to go out there and play. I think so. I hate talking about myself. I think you know that. But I do feel the experience that I've had, the relationship that I've had with these players, there's a lot of continuity, the staff, front office. I think that, being able to manage and make sure guys are working in unison together to the best of our ability, I think I'm equipped to do that.
I know you're saying you don't have a firm timeline on when you can start the season, but how has the Walker actually looked this spring? The command, the finite execution of his pitches is not there. Not expected to be right now. But the throw, how it looks, intensity-wise, the bounce back is he's in a great spot. So I just can't speak right now like I told you yesterday. I don't know exactly what that means as far as when he takes the mound in a real ball game. I don't know yet. Velocity bounce back touched 96 in that one rehab outing last year.
I think for a bullpen, it's right where it needs to be. I want to say he's right around, right on 92, and that's a good spot for middle of February.
And Dave, so we've seen all the moonshots from Ohtani. It's like a VPC around the world. But as far as what are your big takeaways from seeing him in the clubhouse, how he interacts with his teammates? Are there any surprises with how he's blending in with the clubhouse?
I think the only surprise is, he's a special person, special player. There's a lot of things that he needs to get ready for a day. But his level of engagement with myself, his teammates, has been next level. And I've heard from a lot of people that they haven't seen him laugh or smile so much. So I just think that any player that is happy to be at work, that's got to be a good thing.
Thanks, Dave.
There's our general manager. So, hey guys, I think I'm done. All the hard questions to Gomer.
Like all that.
Hey Dave, do you have any questions for Brandon? You can have my mic.
Not at all.
Brandon, we were talking about Dave just kind of back on Ohtani, like in the yesterday. Just your takeaways.
offensively so far, which has been awesome to see, joking around, coming in and really embracing the culture. And on the field wise, his swing looks great, he's progressing really well. Clearly, the ball's jumping off of his bat, so feels like he's in a really good place overall. And it's been a great transition and fitting in the culture exactly as we move forward.
Hey Brandon, we were just talking to Dave just about how, put into context, the dollars that you guys spent this offseason, how you could either separate it or equate it to winning. You guys obviously went all in with $1 billion and 3 guys. How do you view all that?
I mean, we've talked about it over the offseason, but it was one of those things where the players that were available and how they fit into what we felt was really important short-term and long-term, and our ownership continues to be incredibly supportive, so we felt like it was the appropriate time to go ahead and do what we did.
Other teams have spent a lot, but it hasn't translated into winning. Why do you believe that these guys make that big of a difference?
A little bit.
I think our foundation has always been scouting, player development, building from within, and then supplementing pieces when needed and when appropriate. And these additions have our needs that we feel like will fit now and in the future, but also fit into our clubhouse really well, which we talk about all the time as being incredibly important. So it's not just putting pieces together in a haphazard way. It's a very thoughtful how it fits in the overall package, but also how everybody's going to be interacting together and how the clubhouse is going to gel. And we feel really confident about the talent, but the people that we have are just as important. I talked to him in between at bat, especially when he took the foul ball up trying to. I don't think anybody was very happy with that. But he seems to be doing great, and I think at each point he's going about his business in a totally professional way, but having fun with the guys in the meantime. So it's been really nice so far to see.
As a former pitcher, how different is it watching Yamamoto's routine as opposed to what you would do to get ready on a daily basis?
I think the routine for each guy is individual, and for Yoshinobu, it's another step towards outside the norm. But man, the intent, the focus, Dockett, we were watching his first pen, and Dockett touched on it immediately. good about our depth.
How confident are you about getting back and staying healthy?
He's been really short. So just keeping him on that path, keeping him feeling good is the most important thing, and then the rest of it will be. I mean, last year watching Walker along the way, it was good because Walker's so good that at each point it's like, okay, maybe if once he gets into live, when he gets into games, we'll see that next level. And that never really happened. And it kind of, was part of the factor that, okay, Walker, I know you want to come back. Let's just do the smart thing here. And I get to watch him 6 weeks ago throwing flat ground at Dodger Stadium. And it's like, okay, that's his delivery, his body, the confidence in just how he's feeling overall is really positive. So we're excited for him to get back out there by making sure that we're balancing his workload and being able to be available at his peak for the stretch.
I think like Sonny Island is like I'm not the biggest guy. I have to be the guy that runs about 5 to 12 organizations. We have a lot of people coming back from the second year and we have another one behind with us.
I think our coaching staff, training staff, performance staff do an outstanding job of making sure there's a foundation in each area and that we're layering on volume, more intensity,
All from the minor league.
chunking it out along the way so that we're kind of building that up from the foundation. That's really the thing that we can focus on, and then here walking everything so far has been really positive. He won't admit it, but I'm sure we're pretty good about it.
You talked about this bringing out some weight last year as well as the big shape coming into this week. You're stronger. How do you see this, that, whether it's added in, how do you see that play out? Just to get is that been a positive for those guys?
We've had a lot. I mean, the physicality of our guys that came in, they're in really every spring it's like best shape of my life. Right? These guys that come in, put in some really good work. Emmett, Stone, Landon Knapp, Kyle Hurd, Bueller, all these guys came in and they were more physical. You could tell that there was some real intensity. Those guys were really good in this offseason to come in and compete. And hopefully they might translate to it's hard to put a ton of weight into bullpens. Velocities across the board have been up, and it doesn't look like they're trying to really step on it. So it's like it's coming out free and easy, and we're seeing low to mid 90s. I think is a good thing, but you can tell the body is creating a more force.
Just muscle. There's stuff that's similar to those last two events. He like sort of changed how he was working out the past winter, more mobility.
Yeah, he looks really good. He works very hard. Focused on getting back there. No,
get injuries so close together. You have to view him differently. Does he reliever now? Does he change his throwing mechanics at all to protect the elbow? Anything?
I think it's something that we'll monitor as the intensity gets going. It's kind of hard to put too much focus on changing. So I think it'll be a file here on the team and making sure that we're monitoring things like this lead leg block and things that aren't but as far as we're concerned, we don't see much differently. Guys are just coming back from more than they have in the past. So I know Dustin's raised himself up to starter.
Brandon, when you go and look at Gavin Lux defensively, how much you guys go back a couple seasons ago when he filled in for Siegs, just kind of the defensive metrics and him being the everyday shortstop moving forward?
Yeah, I mean, that's what he came up as. It's his natural position. When he filled in for Corey, obviously it was really good. It was rangy. It was more natural for him. And watching him up in the minor leagues since he was a kid, yeah, it was always like this is a major league shortstop. So, even coming off of the injury, like still very confident that he's going to go out there.
And as far as Rojas, Great Al is like a top 4 defensive shortstop. How do you envision his role? I mean, last year was thrusted into that situation by necessity, but how do you envision his role and how big is that to have him as a shortstop for you?
He's incredible in the clubhouse. As close to an 80 defender as you can get. So he's going to get plenty of opportunities. I know Doc's going to get him in there at different levels. And just how, things have always been done in the past. When their opportunities arise for different reasons, we're going to make sure, Doc's very mindful of getting guys off their feet and being fresh, and it just makes things work better. So the reps for Miggy, I'm sure, are going to be
Brandon.
How big of a challenge getting that together, making sure guys are where you want them to their
Yeah, it certainly doesn't leave much margin for error. You build out the progression, with our hitting guys, getting the position players up and ready to go from the pitching staff and more challenging. So it creates just a narrow band if you have a hiccup to recover from as far as making sure putting guys in harm's way. We're prepared for a bunch of different things to happen, and it's part of the benefit of having the depth that we have. So you have the plan, and if you have to pivot, you pivot. I think that's the biggest challenge. You don't have all we can take a couple days.
What added injury concern is particularly
We are building our guys up in a manner that way. So once again, we will work backwards and lay the foundation in the front end. And kind of once we get to those 2 games or 3 of whatever our guys are trying to do, we'll have them do that and not more. Our coaching staff does such a great job of being mindful of putting things too. So we'll put the team together how we need to make sure no one's in harm's way, but still putting out the best that we can. Sleep, hopefully, and probably some
Sleep, a little more sleep.
wine to help you sleep.
Wine to help you sleep. That's right, there you go, Bill. Yes.
Is that your opening day roster, or do you have to kind of double your roster and make separate ones?
You have it's a 26-man roster, but you have 3 spots that you can kind of like set aside. You don't have to. It's not like you're some minor tweaks. It's essentially 4, 3, 4, 5 starters. You can framework and an idea, and make sure we're not spending too much time building out a path on the 20th, that could be totally irrelevant. So like at each point, as we get closer, it's like, okay, what did you guys do here that you liked, that you didn't? Kind of have those conversations once the picture gets a little bit clearer.
We talked just a little bit about yesterday. I know it's not the same, but against right-handed pitching, they were out there and then against right-handed pitching, more likely Hernandez,
Yeah, I think that it's, I think that's a pretty simplistic way to put it. No, I think that that's fair, but I think that it's like, there's going to be days where James is going to play against lefties, and there's going to be some days where Max is going to have some days off, which would be a left-handed pitcher. But we expect Teoscar to take down a lot of the everyday at-bats. We expect James to. We expect Shohei to play this right-handed pitcher. And so when you're looking at Manny, obviously he's best equipped to handle left-handed pitching. And CT's a guy that can play the infield, the outfield, handles both, and has shown that throughout his career. So to find ways to plug him in, to keep him consistent, it's going to manifest, it'll show itself. I can't say right now how it's going to be, but kind of putting those pieces together is, I wouldn't say it's a challenge, but that's something that's always front of mind for me, the front office, the hitting coaches, and all that. I think he's going to play. When he plays, Manny will play versus left-handed pitching. We just have so much, if everyone stays healthy, which we've all learned that it doesn't always play out as such, guys get banged up, but as the roster starts right now, you have a DH and you have 3 outfield spots. So how best can you kind of plug those guys in? Because the way it looks on the first day of the season might not be even the way it looks 2 weeks in. So it's hard to kind of prognosticate right now. So I'm hesitant to kind of put these guys in the box right now.
a lot of moving pieces.
Yeah, and a lot of good moving pieces. So, but Manny's played versus right in his career. CT's done that recently. Obviously, Max is an everyday player. So, and James has shown success. So it's like how we put these pieces together to keep them healthy, strong, and to keep other guys relevant.
How do you sort of parse out like what sort of led to the defensive struggles?
Yeah, I mean, I think it was a little bit of it was not great and really good, and then Max goes in and he's owned it, and he's made those points to the ball. Dino comes in and brings about his earlier. He's on a mission. He's really focused right now. We're excited to get him on.
It's hard not to notice that he came into camp and he admitted that too. That he had to make some changes.
I think so. I mean, I think we all do. I know for a fact that no one was more frustrated with the defensive play than Max himself. And as Gomer said, I think he was kind of got into a little bit of a funk defensively. And to his credit, he's had a great winter. His body's in fantastic shape. The mobility, The infield guys are raving about him. He's confident he's in a good spot. So I would expect him to be a above average third baseman like he was a few years ago.
Has the trend for you that you said like 400 runs on the backfields? Is that translating? Have you guys noticed like difference?
The swing, the simplicity, his mindset right now, being a good hitter first. Like he's in a very
Is it not a business that it starts with the physical part of it?
I think it's he took this offseason as like a challenge of having a good but not great year in his mind last year. So his focus was to go out like I'm gonna get back to being an elite player that he was in the past.
I did not say that.
I'm saying the same thing.
That's cool.
Restrictions on Gavin starts with his cactus games. That's not going to get him out early.
I wouldn't say restrictions. I think it's more of just a progression or build-up. So I don't think we look at it as restrictions. It's more of what it takes to kind of get his legs under him. Appreciate the fact that he hasn't played baseball. But as far as kind of limitations, he's in a good spot, strength-wise, mobility-wise.
It'll surprise you.
And it's only going to get better as time goes on, which we've already seen in the last couple of weeks. So no restrictions, just running him out there as we would any player.